What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to a couple of subscribers for showing love. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, the brother Robert Mason coming through yet another donation to the channel via the PayPal. Salute to you for showing love, man. I see your messages, man, and the things you be talking about. I agree 100%, man. And yeah, the NBA on NBC officially was an absolute bona fide hit. So, you know what I'm saying? They know what people want to see. They want to see authentic basketball, and they want to see the powers to be in the sports realm and the networks present the game in a respectable and professional manner, not making, drug references and, jokes that'll send you straight to HR. But anyway, I also want to give a shout out to the brother Magnetic Discovery for his donations to the channel, also via the PayPal. And he had a question, and it involved, well, not necessarily a question, but an observation, and it involved Shohei Ohtani and his fans. He says, quote, "Are fans not logical about Ohtani? They say him being a good pitcher makes him the GOAT, and it's not up for debate. However, since he doesn't play a position, shouldn't it also be taken into account? Some are even saying racism if you don't agree that he's the undisputed GOAT. It's insane." Yeah, look, man. Now, don't get me wrong. Shohei Ohtani is the real deal. He's definitely hopefully when everything is said and done with his career, we can evaluate what he did, what he accomplished, his skill set, his production, and then we can make a real, actual, accurate historical assessment of his career. But living in the moment and just going off of what he's doing right now, I will admit that his peak production warrants some comparison. But if you want to be considered an all-time GOAT, you have to do it, in my opinion, for a durational period of time. And that's the thing. His overall production doesn't warrant GOAT status. Like he has, I believe, 39 career wins as a pitcher. And up until recently, the threshold for a pitcher being in the Hall of Fame was 300 victories. Now, because of the fact that these guys don't complete games or go as long as they used to, now it's going to be lowered more down to 200, 250 wins. But still, Ohtani's already, close to 30? And he only has 39 career victories. It's a great win percentage. If you include his Japanese career, I think he's at 80 wins. That's great, but he's still far away from the marks by, Cy Young with 511 and was it Grover Cleveland Alexander with 416 wins, I think, or something like that. That's the old era when those guys used to pitch complete games all the time. The so-called dead ball era, even in more recent times, the 329 victories by Nolan Ryan, 354, I think, by Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson with over 300. And, you know what I'm saying? Even more modern guys in the 2000 teens with 200 something victories. So he's away from that. And then even on the offensive side, he's at 280 something home runs, I think, and about 700 RBI. That's great, but he's not even at the 1,000 RBI threshold yet. Most of your all-time greats are well north of 1,500 RBI. So, and because he's considered a power hitter, he's expected to hit 500 home runs. Can he keep up that production? I don't know. And it is a notable point that he doesn't necessarily play a position. I think he's a designated hitter. You know what I'm saying? Ruth, although he all quit being a pitcher for a while, Ruth was alternating between pitching and playing a position before he quit being a full-time pitcher around 1919. There was a little period where Ruth would pitch and then he played in the field. There was no such thing as a designated hitter until the 80s. So what Ruth was doing was more impressive. And I don't think was ever, uh, I don't think Ruth was ever DiMaggio or Willie Mays level fielder, but he was considered a good fielder. Ohtani doesn't have that challenge. But what he's doing, or what he has been doing, he's had some great moments. Now, even when you look at his postseason career, he has great moments. He does have some strong performances, like the closeout game against the Brewers, where he had 10 strikeouts and 6 shutout innings and 3 home runs. It's amazing. But if I'm not mistaken, before that game, he was hitting, I think, under 200 during the postseason. So we got to be more fair and objective when we look at Ohtani. And I've been down this road before. I remember when Jeremy Lin had this little stretch with the Knicks where he was playing very well. I think it was 2011 or something like that. 2011, I think it was. 2011 to 2012. And I remember people was comparing him to Michael Jordan. And I remember doing a video saying that was just pure hyperbole. Like, he hasn't even played 25 games yet. And you guys are comparing him to Michael Jordan. You wouldn't believe how many people who of Jeremy Lin's persuasion was calling us racist. Just because we said he wasn't Michael Jordan, right? And, you got some of that from Pacquiao fans who were accusing people of being racist if you didn't think that Pacquiao was the GOAT or whatever. So, I tire of that. I really do. Because it's funny how if someone accuses someone look like me of being racist, talking about Ohtani's not the GOAT, I don't see people coming running to my defense saying, wait a minute, man. Now, I've seen this guy talk sports and he's giving props to everybody of every persuasion. I don't see that. I see people silently thumbing up the comment, accusing me of being So that's why I get like, okay, you know what, man? If y'all gonna be on that time, then maybe I shouldn't be so fair. That's sometimes how I do feel. But I can't help but be fair, man. Now, I will point out things that I think warrant a discussion on RACE, but when I'm doing assessments of players, that never factors into my mind. Never. I never even look at that. If that's the case, I wouldn't even be advocating for players like Bob Cousy and Babe Ruth and some of these other guys who they don't look like me, but I don't look at that when I'm talking about sports. So for people even to interject that, it shows more about you. It tells more about you than me. But no, when it comes to Ohtani, yeah, some of his fans, a lot of his fans are on, they're way out there, man. But let him earn what he, ultimately gets. Now he's definitely with the MVPs and, he's definitely getting there. And I do think they should combine his Japanese professional career with his MLB numbers too when assessing him, because he came a little bit later. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.